Welcome to another edition of What Barrie's Talking About from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely. On this week's program, we hear from Barrie Springwater Oro Medonte MPP Doug Downey as we course through the provincial election campaign. We meet gold medal winning goalie Amelia Wilkinson, who was part of the women's under-18 team in Finland. Georgian College is rising to the challenge, expanding its skilled trades program. A couple of stories behind the story with a new Turkish restaurant in South Barrie, one of them with a connection to the British royal family. And we get caught up with the Barrie Colts. We get the conversation started after this. This is What Barrie's Talking About from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely. We begin this week with another in our series of interviews profiling Barrie candidates for the provincial election this month. Today we have Barrie Springwater Oro Medonte MPP Doug Downey in the House, speaking with our Ian MacLennan.
Doug, why are we into a campaign in the first place? What's the purpose when there is still at least a year to go?
Well, part of it is we're either spend the money now or spend the money next year. And we need the U.S. and Trump in particular to understand that when the premier takes a position, that is our position and will stay our position for 4 years. And so it's a re-anchoring, and it puts us at the table with more leverage.
So you're saying that this election is about giving the premier a mandate to deal with whatever comes down from Washington?
That's right. We're seeing instability. Every day there's a new development or a new adjustment, and we need to create stability on our side so that when we take a position, it's a solid position, and they know that we can follow through during the entire term of his presidency.
Now, your critics, government critics have said, well, you don't need a mandate. You make decisions on the pandemic. You made a decision on the green belt that you backtracked on. But so why is this different? If you still you were elected with a majority, what's the dynamics that would make this change?
Well, the primary difference is the misalignment of mandates, so that we're looking at a year from now, and as you would know, that you might even start the election nearing a little bit early. So we don't want to be in that position when we're in the middle of trying to manage and negotiate and respond to what's happening in the U.S.
But calling an election too is about timing. That sometimes, obviously for the government in power, this was the right time to do it. Liberals, NDP, in terms of fundraising, in terms of even number of candidates, was it catching them a little off guard, even though the government dropped hints that there was an election likely to be called?
Well, I think the Premier's been talking about the potential for over 6 months. I don't think anybody was caught off guard in terms of the media asked them at press conferences repeatedly for months and months and months. So I think the others were fair warned, and quite frankly, they had been getting ready for it, doing big fundraisers, recruiting candidates, and all the things you need to do to get ready.
Now, in Nano's survey that was commissioned by CTV, the number one issue wasn't tariffs. That was number 3. It was health care. When the government ran 2018, it was hallway medicine. Do you think you've accomplished that in terms of ending hallway medicine? And that's a blank statement, like it's gone.
We've made tremendous strides in terms of the medical supports that we have. We brought locally the first PT scanner, PET scanner. We've been trying to get this for 15 years in our community. We got that landed. We've doubled the number of seats in dialysis. We've expanded acute care beds. We've spent $12 million to expand to another 99 extra beds. We've brought in the Heart Hub. We've expanded nursing at Georgian College so you can finish your degree there and not take your 4th year down at York and then leave the community. We've done a lot of things locally to make sure that healthcare is strong. But let's be clear, with the uncertainty of tariffs and what's going on in the economy, it's the economy, it's the revenue and the taxation that pays for healthcare. If we have an unstable economy, that affects our ability to provide top-level healthcare.
So is that what you're saying? And so that's why the tariffs are so critical to fight. You're linking that again to the woes of the healthcare system?
Absolutely, because if we don't have the revenue, if we don't have the money, we can't provide the services. And so we need to deal with those U.S. tariffs. We have to get stability.
You didn't have the tariff threats for 4 years before Trump came to power. And the OMA and both the Ontario Medical Association and Ontario Nurse Association say there's chaos in the emergency rooms when they are open in smaller communities. So the campaign previous was getting it done. Did you get it done on healthcare?
We are getting it done. We have got a lot done.
Yep.
If you go to RVH, you go to Soldiers, you go to the redevelopment in Alliston, the redevelopment in Collingwood, We're building and renovating, expanding 50 hospitals across the province. We've hired tens of thousands of nurses. We've opened 3 medical schools. We're making sure that domestic students have priority in those medical schools. You know, if the Liberals hadn't cut 50 spots years ago, we'd have 450 doctors actually practicing right now in Ontario. We've taken a different path. We're building.
Healthcare, one question, again, with regards to everybody's going to have a family doctor. Liberals, Bonnie Crombie says, and if they become, the Liberals take power, everyone's going to have a family doctor. The NDP makes similar promises. PCs have come close to that too with your announcement just before the election was called about primary care. When does it become believable, though, for people? A lot of numbers get tossed around.
One of the big differences for us is that we count nurse practitioners as primary care. The Liberals and the NDP don't respect them in the sense that they don't count them in the numbers. We do. We also are realigning certain parts of the system. You can go to your pharmacist now for a ton of ailments that you otherwise couldn't. So it's not all about money, and it's not all about doing more of the same.
But when you need those critical tests, like the colonoscopy or the cancer and what have you, that you need that family doctor, that requisition. Anyway, pharmacy, those are for the small things, but for the bigger picture, though.
Well, absolutely, and we need to make sure that the resources are landing in the right spot to make that happen. And when you're going to your family doctor for a minor ailment that you could go now to the pharmacist for, you're taking up space.
Economy. People are struggling to put food on the table. There's 7,000 people using the food bank alone in Barrie. That's something obviously any government would not be proud of. What's the solution here?
I'm hearing this at the doors, the cost of everything. And part of it is keeping the gas tax down. We've cut over 10 cents a litre. We had that in for a period of time. We're going to make that permanent, leaves money in people's pockets. We've never raised a tax. There are a ton of things that we're doing to try and help with affordability, but it's a joint effort, us and other levels of government, to make sure that we have a healthy economy, that we have an ability for people to buy groceries, to get around in the cars. We're a driving community, and you know that. We need to make sure that people have the ability to live their lives as best they can, and it is a struggle. We're trying to find ways to make a difference. For
people who are struggling, the NDP specifically and the Green Party have announced that they would up the level of Ontario Works and ODSP. Your government did with ODSP. What about OW2? We talk about people struggling in the economy. How important are those that are most vulnerable?
Well, as a conservative, I think being fiscally responsible allows us to take care of the most vulnerable. And we've put record amounts of money into affordable housing. We've put record amounts of money into ODSP. We raised it 5%, which the other parties did not do when they had the opportunity. So we are making responsible choices. We're providing supports for people. We've expanded legal aid access to historic levels, where before you couldn't qualify unless you had income of less than $19,000. Now it's $45,000. We're trying to address people where they're at.
And Doug, finally, why Doug Downey?
Well, because I've worked hard for this area. I have a long list of things I'm very proud of: the infrastructure, the water, the wastewater. Just recently, $70 million, half for Springwater, half for Barrie, to expand housing. We know housing is a crunch issue around here. So all the highway bridges, up Oro 3, 5, 7, 9 have all been completed. We've got Sunnydale and Street Bridge done. Dunlop is next. So a heavy focus on jobs, the economy, infrastructure, and then the social services and healthcare that come with that.
We are in the presence of greatness. Meet Amelia Wilkinson, goaltender for the Barrie Junior Sharks, also a gold medal winner with Canada's under-18 women's team at the recent World Championship in Finland. She joins us today with her Sharks coach, Dwayne Eldridge. First of all, congratulations on the gold medal. How was that for you?
Yeah, thank you. It was awesome. Just the whole experience and going to Europe. That was super cool. I've never been there before. And it was super nice down there. We went downtown a couple times, and the whole tournament, of course, that was amazing.
Tell me about getting there in the first place, being chosen, and because that's where it all begins, right?
Yeah, so it all started in the summer camp. That was pretty nerve-wracking, but it was cool to play with a bunch of the top players in Canada. And then, yeah, we went to nationals and had a good showing there. And then, yeah, we got a phone call and they tell you that you made the team, and that was super exciting.
And you were playing with some players that you play against during your Sharks games, right?
Yeah.
So how did that work out? How was that? What's the dynamic there?
Yeah, it was pretty cool because I did get to play with a bunch of them on Team Ontario too. So then when we went to Finland, I was already pretty close with some of them. And yeah, it's just cool to like play against them and then also get to be friends with them and like play with them and with all their skill.
And now you're bitter enemies again.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to be a goalie?
When I was really young, we were rotating, and then no one really wanted to go in net, and I said I wanted to, and then so we kind of stopped rotating, and I just started playing in net and stuck with it ever since.
Isn't that always the way? Nobody wants to play in goal. Tell me about that whole experience on the ice in Finland, and you're sitting, you're watching, there's some nerve-wracking times, but you had a pretty good game in that last game.
Yeah, for sure. My first game, well, we played an exhibition game first against Finland, so that was nice to kind of get the feel for the arena and the competition. And then, yeah, my first, preliminary round game, that was kind of stressful, but after I got a couple shots, it was all good, and it was just cool to be in that environment with that team and with that jersey on, of course.
Now tell me about this guy who's your coach here in Barrie. What's he like? Really, you can be honest.
Yeah, Dwayne is awesome. He's always supporting us, the whole team, and wants just the best for all of his players, and it's awesome. I've been playing for him for, 2 and a bit years now. So, yeah, it's been pretty cool. He's an awesome coach.
You guys are having a great season, too.
Yeah.
I'm going to get him to talk about that because I have to give him a chance, too. But when he comes in here, he's beaming about this team all the time. He's really proud of you guys. So, Dwayne, tell us how things are going, really.
Yeah, it's been amazing. We had a great year last year, and you're trying to follow up. Not only have we followed up, I think we've exceeded what last year's teams accomplished. And everything for us starts on the back end with Amelia and her goalie partner, Ava. 2 of the best goalies in the league. We clearly have the best tandem, and everything starts from there. I think we've made a really conscious effort to commit on team defense this year. 35 games in, we've only given up 42 goals, which is best in the league. And then from there on, everything's just move forward. It's been amazing to watch the development and the growth.
I checked this morning. Your record is 26-7-0.
Yeah.
This is awesome, and you're right in the thick of things there.
That's the most wins we've ever had. So we still have 8 or 9 games left. Sitting 4th, 5th, which is our goal was to be in the top 5. I think we're going to achieve that goal, and then certainly looking forward to hosting a playoff round, which we have not done before. And I think the team's got a ton of confidence that we can compete with anybody. So it's going to be an exciting couple of months to wrap up here for sure.
But they're not cocky, right? They know there's a job that has to be done, and they can't get cocky.
No, we went 21 games in a row where we got at least 1 point, which was phenomenal. And then we kind of got brought down to earth in a really good game against Whitby that we lost, and then you start all over again. But I think that constant reminder of being their best every time they come to the rink is something that this group has really embraced, and they do it at practice, at games. And so cocky, no, but confident, yes.
So what's next for you after the Barrie Sharks? Where are you heading from here?
Yeah, so after the Barrie Sharks, I'm going to be going to the University of Connecticut.
Mm-hmm. And when is that happening?
So that's happening most likely in 2026.
Okay, so you've got another year here.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And what's the long-term vision? Are you thinking PWHL? Are you hoping the NHL has women on the teams at some point soon?
Oh, yeah, the PWHL would be the dream goal there. That would be something I aspire to be a part of, for sure. And
you've got somebody who can give you some pretty good encouragement because, he's got somebody on one of those teams.
Exactly.
She's doing very well, too, Jessie.
Yeah, that whole team has had a great year. I think the coaching change, bringing Coach Fargo, Coach Skiban, have changed everything in the room, the culture, and you can see it in the results they're having. And yeah, individually, she's having a great year. It's been a lot of fun for them.
You want to get a lot of people out into the stands. Give us your best pitch. Tell people why they need to come out and see you and the rest of your teammates playing.
I think just because of the level that it's gotten to, The women's game has improved so much, and even at the PWHL games, there's so many fans now, like they're filling arenas, and it's just awesome to be a part of the growth, I feel like.
Handful of games left, Dwayne. East Bayfield Community Center for the home games, and the away games are mostly pretty close, aren't they?
Yeah, we don't have any more long road trips. Everything's in the Toronto area. We got 4 or 5 home games and then playoff time, so it's gone fast for sure.
All right, you give the pitch to get people out to East Bayfield.
Well, we can finally now say we've had a member of the World Championship U18 team. We waited a long time for that, and Amelia is the first, but won't be the last, I'm sure. To her point, this is arguably the best league in the world for kids of this age, and the quality just keeps getting better and better. The speed, there's an awful lot from the women's pro game that's coming in. Our game's getting more physical. The games are more exciting. The compete level's high, and everybody who comes and sees it for the first time is amazed at how good these young players are. So you won't waste your time. You won't regret it. That's for sure.
And you have players from the junior Sharks who are involved in other development camps. They fan out all over the place when the season is done, don't they?
Yeah, they do. We had the most amount go to the Team Ontario camp this year, most amount to Team Canada camp, and we see that continuing into the future. So you've got an awful lot of great players right in our own backyard that are accomplishing great things, and obviously we would like to see some of them end up in the PWHL one day after they've done their college careers.
Next home game is?
That's going to be Monday. We have a rescheduled game with London from weather, of course, the snow. So Monday afternoon at East Bayfield Center, I think it's going to be at 2 o'clock.
It's family day, so a lot of people could come out and have a look.
Yeah, we could. The BWHA is hosting their second major tournament of the year this weekend, Winterfest, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, at all the local rinks in Barrie. So there's opportunity to get to see girls hockey all weekend, all across, and then we're going to cap it off with our game against London on Monday afternoon.
Continued success the rest of the regular season. We'll look forward to you playing in the playoffs, and we'll be keeping a particular eye on you, Amelia. Congratulations, and thanks so much for coming in.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Dan.
Georgian College is expanding its Center for Skilled Trades to meet the needs for a strong, sustainable, and green future. Here again is Barrie 360's Ian MacLennan with Georgian's Dean of Engineering, Rebecca Sabaran.
Georgian College, the Barrie campus, is expanding its Center for Skilled Trades. Why is that happening?
Well, we know that 1 in 6 jobs in 2026 will be in the skilled trades area. So we know there's a huge labor demand for the skilled trades. At the same time, we just want to make sure that we provide an unrivaled learning experience. So by modernizing our labs, we can guarantee that. We also know that there's over 700,000 people retiring from the skilled trades. So we have a need.
And it's going to grow by 20,000 square feet. And at a news conference not too long ago, it was referred to as future-ready skilled trades. And I was taken aback, too, when I looked at artificial intelligence and robotics, advanced digital technologies. Maybe how does artificial intelligence play? How would that play into a student's learning?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So I don't know about you, but I use artificial intelligence right now, every day. When I'm going on, I use ChatGPT or I use OpenAI. So really what artificial intelligence is just learning and using data to learn about whether a process or a function is meeting the needs and how it can be improved. So we see this in skilled trades as there's less workers. We're going to use robotics more. We're going to use data and analytics more. And then we'll use artificial intelligence to help us really hone in on quality and just the process. So,
and the government too, both federal and at the provincial level, have reinforced the need for skilled trades for their programs, and the growth rate for skilled trades in Georgian's catchment area is actually outpacing the provincial rate. When somebody hears that, what does that mean?
To me, what that means is we've got a lot going on in the Georgian catchment area. We have a huge demand for the skilled trades in this area. It's actually 27%, whereas the provincial rate is 12%. So that means that we're growing and we're thriving, and we need to continue to generate people that can maintain our roads. They can do culinary, they can do hairstyling, allow us to thrive in our everyday life.
And across the campuses at Georgian and Owen Sound, Muskoka, Barrie, Midland specifically, 39 skilled trades programs already. What are some of those that are being offered?
Yeah, there's quite a lot. So the one that is in Barrie is, or one of the ones that I'm responsible for is tool and die, general machinist and mold maker. There's in Midland, there's welding, plumbing, electrical. In Owen Sound, there's carpentry. It's in Barrie also. So just a wide range. And I would encourage anyone to go onto the Georgian website and just see what the program offerings are, because there's apprenticeship, there's diploma, which is a 2-year program, advanced diplomas, and then we also do pre-apprenticeship. So quite a lot going on at Georgian when it comes to skilled trades.
And I was interested too that Georgian just isn't picking a program off the shelf, and the decision-making process of what program to have. It was described as Georgian's industry connected with partners. So how much interaction is there? So you're hearing from the experts too. You're an expert, but people who are on the front line too. What's needed? What sort of interaction is there?
There is an enormous amount of interaction. That's something I love about living in the Barrie area. Is quite often that you might go outside your door and meet someone from local industry. You can chat about them, about how our co-op students are doing, how our graduates are doing, how our apprentices are doing. And at the same time, they can tell us maybe some technology that they're bringing on board, or asking us to help them bring technology on board. So on the other hand, we also have program advisory committees for every one of our programs, where we bring in local industry 2 times a year. We chat about what's going on in industry, our Georgian programs, and how we can work together to not only produce skilled tradespeople that are skilled for now, but also anticipating future needs.
And I know we talked sometimes, dentists and doctors have to keep up with, as medical things advance, but that's true with the trades too. It's a very fast-moving area, I guess, depending on what sort of trade you choose, and the school has to keep up with it too, right?
Yeah, so the interesting thing about apprenticeship is it's a combination of working hands-on, so getting your hours, and then academic blocks. So the ministry sets out the requirements for the different academic blocks, but all the time they're reviewing those standards and maybe adding more in as technology evolves. And we're not limited to just teaching the ministry standard. If we find out that industry is progressing, let's say, towards rapid manufacturing, then we can also introduce our skilled trades students to those technologies to make sure that they have a really seamless integration into industry. And what I've also heard from our industry partners is sometimes they rely on us to train our students to be able to bring in new technology to their factory floors.
How long have you been in this field in instruction, in the trades area? How long have you been doing it?
Yeah, so I've been in the trades area since I started at Georgian, which was approximately 6 years. But before that, I was in the Canadian Armed Forces as an aerospace engineer and responsible for training in my squadron, then responsible for training in a school, a fighter school. And then I was overall responsible for all trades training for the Air Force. So I have a love of the trades that I grew up with when I was young, and then it's just continued into my professional career.
We talked off air. I know times change over the years and the decades, but going to school back in the day, it was like, well, if you're going to trades, that's not dead end, but you weren't, it was sometimes it was frowned upon. What have you seen the changes where it's, not just because there's a shortage of skilled trade workers, but there's a recognition that how critical that this sort of schooling and learning is? Yeah,
that's amazing. So yes, I must indicate that I've heard stories of people that did very, very well when they were younger and went immediately into engineering because the trades were not sold as strongly. But from what I can see at Georgian College and other colleges, the trades training that is offered is cutting edge on incredible equipment and amazing faculty, and just the opportunities both professionally and in terms of wage are endless. We just recently had a student graduate. He was in our precision skills program, so that's focusing mostly on computer numerical control. And he competed at Skills Ontario, which is kind of like the Olympics of trades, that he got a gold medal regionally in Ontario. Then he got gold in Canada. And then he went to Lyon, France to compete at World Skills. And he is now working with advanced materials and working on design for shuttles and aerospace systems. So I think we've got to change the way we think about the learning that's available at colleges and what sort of pathway and journey people can go on when they work in the trades.
What Barrie's Talking About is a weekly podcast featuring the best Barrie and Simcoe County have to offer and more. You can get caught up and make it easy to keep up in the future by subscribing to What Barrie's Talking About through any podcast distributor. Still to come on What Barrie's Talking About, had a gold medal winner on early in the program. Next, we have a local restaurateur who once cooked for the royal family. And we get our regular update on the Barrie Colts. Now this.
Our community rocks.
It's a well-known fact blood transfusion saves lives. It's also a well-known fact that the world relies on voluntary unpaid donations to fill the need for blood. The need for blood never ends. Canadian Blood Services in Barrie is calling on you to help save a life. Please consider donating today. Appointments are mandatory and must be booked in advance. Book today at blood.ca through the Give Blood app or by calling 1-888-2-DONATE.
Barrie's Rock Station, Rock 95.
This is What Barrie's Talking About from Barrie 360. I'm Dan Blakely. Little spot around the corner from us here at Barrie 360, Kocelli Doner Kebab House, serving up Turkish delights. Aidan Kocelli is the man behind it. We'll get to the restaurant and what you have to offer in a moment, but first, you have an interesting history having cooked for the British royal family.
Yes, I did work on her kitchen as well, yes.
So what was that like?
It was a little hard, more carefully, so it was fun same time.
Yeah.
It was very fun back then. I was happy what I was doing with them. So for almost 6 years.
Yeah. What kind of foods did they like? Did you prepare like a menu week by week, or did they put in requests for what they wanted?
The most was the request, and you will go by the week as well. But most it was the request what we do for them.
How often did they send food back because they wanted something tweaked with it? Did they send things back and you had to start over again?
It wasn't like in kitchen. You're not working like wasn't by myself in charge.
Right.
Then I was the youngest one. There was the chef before me that was doing the stuff there too. It was not my decision what I was doing or not doing. I can't go over that, but it was happening. Stuff like that. It was happening. Yes.
Yeah. What a great experience, though.
Yes, I do have a great experience with them, but I wasn't the head chef for them, the cook for them. I have a chef head of me, and I was doing stuff. Yeah, it was sometime, even they don't like it, they return and stuff.
Yeah.
But that's not too often.
Yeah.
That was very sweet things that was very good to us. But we never see face to face, but it was good.
Okay. And then that finished, and is that when you came to Canada?
I came to Canada in 1999, and the reason I come to Canada, I get married to a Canadian woman, and we decided to move here. And I ran business. It was a bar business, Jane and Western area, for so many years. Actually, I ran for office MP, and back then in 2008, and then from that I keep coming, and we decided to open Kocelli restaurant 9 months ago.
Okay, and how are things going?
So far with the Kocelli family, this is the plan was this. This plan is come up with my son and my brother-in-law. And they're both born here, but what we are doing home, they was excited, they liked what we are doing. The test we brought the Barrie, what exactly we are doing on hometown. And Kocelli that's what is coming from. Kocelli is my hometown. And how we cook stuff back home, what we do, we brought it here. And we see people like it. And so that's such a short time, like 8-9 months, and we see people very interested.
So tell us about Turkish food. What do you have? What do you offer? What is it like? I have visions that it might be spicy. Or is it not?
No, it's not. It's not spicy. Everybody like it very much. Of course, you can make everybody happy, but I can say, even you see the Google reviews and stuff like that, 99% people like it. They like the taste. It's not like spice. It's like if you go some different cultural restaurant, it starts different smell. Turkish kitchen is not like that. Our kitchen is not like that. No.
What's the most popular dish that you serve there?
Right now, we are most like family dinners, like family dinners for four. You have, it's called doner. A Turkish doner is like a shawarma, similar wise. We have most sell those, but our restaurant is more kebabs, like Adana kebabs and beef kebabs and chicken kebabs. And our top sell is the kebabs. We sell kebabs.
So you've brought this new experience, this new dining experience to Barrie, but you're also very involved with the community. You give back to the community.
Yes, that's the good things about us is this, because we are like to give something back to community. What's this mean? Like charities. Like we like to help the charities around us. When you first open, when you went to charities, we say we're here to help you guys. And they're surprised first. Maybe they say this is only maybe one time they want to take a picture and do advertising stuff like that. And we say, no, you don't want any pictures and you don't want any advertising. You want to do it. And then when you, after second, third times when you went there, they already, oh my God, this is something totally different. And sometimes you pick a day, you say once a month, once every second month, other than what we help them a monthly base. We say, let's go run the business. Run that day for a women's shelter, women, children's shelter. From morning till, for example, evening. What you sell, we make. We don't beg anybody, can you give us for donation? No. Whatever you sell, end of the day, we call the mayor or MPs or anybody, hang the check to them. Plus, we give some. If it was not enough, we give some on the top as well. We donate exactly, sell, we make, we give them.
All right, and it could be a different charity every time.
Different charity be every time, but most in Barrie, I do, yes, we do send food to Salvation Army and stuff like that. I can't say no, but my focus most in Barrie ones is the women's shelter, because they need to build 4-story building. Their stuff is not enough. My plan, my goal is be by 1.5 to 2 years to help them with $100,000. At least do something to help them grow it, right? So that's our goal. Let's see what's gonna happen. But right now we're more focused on women's shelter.
In Barrie, you're at Mapleview and Huronia?
Yes, correct.
Where are your other locations?
My other location, one is Aurora, one is right Oshawa, and you have opening one in Aurelia by February 14.
Great to meet you. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for the work you're doing in the community.
And thank you very much.
We'll be down to visit really soon.
Okay, thank you very much.
We always reserve a spot for an update on the Barrie Colts, who continue their quest for a championship. They are locked in a battle with Oshawa for top spot in the Eastern Conference, both with 69 points. We get caught up with Barrie 360's Will Conkin and Colts writer and broadcaster Gene Pereira.
The Colts only had one game on the schedule, and they made sure not to flub it. Took down the Sioux Greyhounds 4-2 at Sadlin on Saturday. Owen Van Steensel scored his first goal in a Barrie uniform since being traded to the Colts from the North Bay Battalion. Gene, you talked with him after the game. He was saying something about getting the monkey off his back.
Yeah, Owen was certainly happy to get that first one, and he's had some opportunities, and it just didn't seem to go in. But he capitalized on a turnover behind the net and walked in front and buried it. And, it was a big goal. It was pretty good timing to get your first goal. Ends up being the game winner against the Greyhounds. That comes just 11 seconds after Bo Jelsma had tied it. So it was a big turnaround, another late comeback. But, for Owen, I think, there's that sense. Obviously, you come to a new team, you want to help out, and he's played well, but the offense just hasn't been there. And I think for that whole line, there's still that adjustment period going on, but they were really good late in that game, and they capitalized with a big goal by Van Steensel.
And I think we can't not talk about goalie Sam Hilbrand. Another great performance, especially in that third period, right?
Yeah, Sam, again, the goaltending, him and Bedorevic just going back and forth, giving them big starts. And, I think for Sam, obviously, too, the feeling there that, his last game in that Niagara game, which was wide open, it wasn't his fault, it was, 7-6 final, but he was just absolutely outstanding, especially in that third period where it was a 3-2 lead, and he kept it, he kept it at a 1-goal deficit, Barrie being down 2-1. So, he, again, he's shown that he can be the number one guy. Benarevic has kind of, gone back and forth with the starts. Both of them have been really good. But for Sam, I think, this was a big effort. And again, he just continues to show that he can be that guy. He showed it last year during the playoffs in the first round of Oshawa. And again, at another big moment when his team needed him to kind of hang on to give him a chance, he did that exactly. And Barrie was able to capitalize and come back.
So the Colts, they've now won 9 of their last 10 games and have collected 19 of 20 points, you were saying in your article during that run. That's not too shabby, eh?
Yeah, that's a pretty good run. And, you figure, okay, that's going to give you some breathing room. And it certainly has ahead of the Central. The Ice Dogs have struggled a little bit here in the past couple of weeks. And the Colts are kind of, building a lead now, I think up to 7 points atop the Central Division. But as far as those Eastern Conference standings and home ice throughout the playoffs, Barrie's still on top. But, Brantford continues to win. Oshawa continues to win. Kingston has been real good. They're right there. So it just seems like you really can't take the foot off the pedal here. And, with these teams kind of chasing you. And, again, just the importance of focusing on what the next game is. Talked to Marty Williamson about that. He says all they can do is take care of their own games, and they seem to be doing that. But credit to Oshawa, Brantford, and Kingston here that just continue on their heels.
And it's a big one coming up on the schedule. The Colts play the London Knights on Thursday, North Bay Saturday, and a Monday game in Kingston. Van Steensel, he said it in your article, 2 heavyweights going at it for that London game.
Yeah, I think both these teams know. They look at the standings and both top their respective conferences. And, they had a really good game earlier in the year when London rallied in the third period on some power play goals to come back and beat Barrie, and I think the Colts want to answer back that and make a statement. And, you hear teams say it's a bit of a statement game, and there's no doubt that Barrie on home ice here wants to prove that, not only that they can compete with London, but that they can beat London, which seem to be the favorites right now. But I expect it to be a really good hockey game. London will come in with the same look as well, that they want to prove that they're the best team in the league. So I think we're in for quite the doozy on Thursday.
And not knocking the other 2 teams, they can be problematic for the Colts in North Bay and Kingston.
Yeah, I mean, again, you can't take the foot off the pedal. North Bay has over the years always played Barrie really well, those divisional rivalries. And again, Kingston has just been really good. To be honest with you, they came in that makeup game on Tuesday, and for pretty much most of the game, they were the better team against Barrie that game. They carried, I think, the majority of the play. But, again, they'll be looking on home ice to get back. And when you look at, you got a couple of points separating. These head-to-head games are really big. So for Barrie, they go on the road here after a couple of home games, and an opportunity here to kind of widen that gap a bit with another team that's on their heels.
Absolutely, looking to cement themselves in the top of the top. Always a pleasure, Gene. Till the next one.
Thanks, Will.
And that's our program for this week. Thanks to Ian and Will for their input, to Matt Ladder for his technical expertise, and to you for listening. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe to What Barrie's Talking About, rate it, review it. You can also keep up with What Barrie's Talking About on Blue Sky and X at Barrie360, on our website, Barrie360.com, and there's our daily Kickstart podcast available from any streaming service and on our website. I'm Dan Blakely. Hope you'll join us again next week.